See this guy right here? This is perhaps the most famous jazz musician of all time, Louis Armstrong. Nicknamed Satchel Mouth or Satchmo, he was a world-renowned transformational artist whose radiant and colorful interpretations of jazz brought the art form into the mainstream. We salute the boy from the very streets around you with the raspy voice. This is courtesy of the Premium Parking Service, LLC, 2015. This is your boy Louis Armstrong holding that trumpet and looks like a sweat rag in his left hand. Let's get it. Good morning, good people. This your boy P9, and I am here in New Orleans, Louisiana. I am here in the Big Easy, New Orleans. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button and check out this fire content that I continue to drop. But without further ado, I'm here in New Orleans, and New Orleans is the largest city in the state of Louisiana. It is the parish seat of Orleans Parish. And being that we're here in Louisiana, instead of counties being the government divisions within the states like the rest of the states are, Louisiana is divided by parishes. And that's due in large part to New Orleans' history of being under French and Spanish rule. So it was originally a colony, a French colony, so that's where the parishes come from. But right here, I'm at the Union Passenger Terminal, downtown New Orleans, on Loyola Avenue. And this is a Union Passenger Terminal. As you can see right over here, there are a couple of streetcars. So New Orleans operates a streetcar system, and the Union Passenger Terminal, this building right here, is a multimodal facility that serves inner city bus passengers. So if you're riding on the Greyhound or the Mega Bus, it'll stop right here. And also there's connections to the Rampart St. Claude streetcar line, which we just saw, those streetcars. And it's also an Amtrak stop. So the Amtrak lines that serve the passenger terminal are the Sunset Limited that operates from Los Angeles to New Orleans, the Crescent, which operates from New York City to New Orleans, and the City of New Orleans train, which is an overnight train that operates from Chicago to New Orleans. As you can see right here, here's the skyline of downtown New Orleans. There's much more we're going to check out, but I'm gonna start this thing right here on Loyola Avenue. So New Orleans, there's a lot to unpack with New Orleans. There's tons of sights to see. Of course, New Orleans is known for its great food. I mean, you know, of course, a lot of seafood, jazz music, jazz bars. That's a staple right here in New Orleans. Pretty cool little sculpture right here. It sits in front of the passenger terminal. And geographically speaking, New Orleans sits next to two major bodies of water. You have Lake Pontchartrain, and you also have the Mississippi River. So that's where New Orleans is situated in the southern United States. It's a low-lying area, so it's very low elevation, which makes it prone to floods and hurricanes. Unfortunately, as we all know, the most devastating hurricane and one of the most devastating natural disasters in history took place right here in New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina. But on to a more positive note, New Orleans has rebuilt, and it's still a thriving and vibrant city. Still a nice place to come bring the family or whoever, you know, your significant other to come visit, and it's a lot of history here. So almost 8 o'clock in the morning. So as usual on a Thursday morning, so as usual, you have that morning traffic right in the heart of downtown. This building right here is the downtown U.S. Postal Service building. So it's located right here on Loyola. Walking down Poydras Street, and I'm gonna make my way back towards Loyola. A couple of things I want to check out though on Poydras. Check out that mural over there. Let's have to cross over here real quick. Oh, this is nice. It has a nice message on it. A dreamer reflects himself, and a dreamer reflects himself as a dream, but one only while he's dreaming. Okay. Looks like there goes a brother right there. Goes a sister right here. Looks like a nurse or something. Over here now, getting ready to go under the tunnel underneath the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Little map right here outside the hotel, the city of New Orleans, street grid and everything. Doing some pressure washing over there, so let me go ahead and cross on this side. I'm over here at the corner of Poydras and Loyola Avenue. I have to make my way down Poydras Street. Dave and Buster's over here. Here comes one of these streetcar stops right here for the RTA. I'm over here by New Orleans City Hall. That's the building right here. You can see little City Hall. an interesting looking park right here. So I guess this is called the Python or the Pythian Temple right there. There goes another little park area that sits outside the New Orleans Public Library. But let me get this Pythian Temple right here. Let me get some insight on that. So it says the architecturally acclaimed Pythian Temple building at 234 Loyola Avenue, formerly South Saratoga, is one of New Orleans' storied landmarks. From 1908 to 1941, members of the Knights of Pythians, under the leadership of Smith W. Green, served as a beacon of pride for African Americans during the segregation era of Jim Crow. In the June of 1908, the Pythians laid their cornerstone at Gravier and Saratoga Streets. In August of 1909, Green opened the Pythian Temple at a cost of over $200,000. The dedication ceremonies featured orchestral music and selections by the St. James A.M.E. Choir and Glee Club of the Dryades Street YMCA. Black lawyer J. Madison Vance, a 1912 delegate to the Republican National Convention, engendered frequent applause as he spoke to the power of organizations and its effects upon civilization. The Times-Picayune described the Pythian Temple as the biggest business enterprise ever attempted by the colored race in the United States. So there goes the building right there. And there's the modern day building right over here, as you can see. So it now hosts a market and I guess some apartments as well. And there goes Smith W. Green right here. So he was a grand leader of the Grand Lodge Color Order of the Knights of Pythians and a former slave, and he became wealthy as a grocer and subsequently became president of the Liberty Independence Insurance Company. So yeah, so Smith W. Green, first time I've heard of him, but he was a beacon of black wealth here in New Orleans. Another example of a former slave who emerged and became successful. This is New Orleans Public Library. A couple of the city buses right here. It's the library right here. New Orleans Public Library. Pretty good sized library. almost forgot to mention the population of New Orleans. New Orleans, as of 2020 census, has a population of 383,997. So a little less than 500,000 people reside in New Orleans. So a lot of this over here is kind of like the Tulane University buildings. Like that's a Tulane, a lot of these kind of like the Tulane University like medical facilities. I'm right here on the at the corner of Loyola and Common Street. Definitely got to hit up the French Quarter. That's probably one of the most, if not the most popular part of New Orleans. The most popular part of New Orleans is not even downtown. It's definitely French Quarter, which is like basically next to downtown. You know, French Quarter, Bourbon Street, all of that. We're gonna get to all of that. We'll get to all of that. So we're down Common Street now. So a lot of this area has hotels. I just turned onto Roosevelt Way. Get this historical building right here. This right here is called the Roosevelt. New Orleans. Now this right here, this building right here, is so historical. It was originally built by Louis Grunewald, a German immigrant, and opened in 1893 as the Hotel Grunewald. So it's been, this building has been up since 1893. It is now a 504-room hotel that is managed by the Waldorf Astoria Hotels and Resorts, owned by the AVR Realty Company. So yeah, this is the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, still in operation. But it's originally the Hotel Grunewald. As I make my way now towards Canal Street. And right next to the hotel, they have a bar called the Roosevelt Hotel Bar. And you know we're getting closer to the French Quarter because we're starting to see some of these buildings that have those iron balconies. So like that architecture, that French architecture. About a couple months ago, I did a vlog in Mobile, Alabama, and I made mention in that vlog that Mobile and New Orleans are architecturally similar. New Orleans, of course, is the bigger city, but Mobile is the older city out of the two. I'm over here by this Voodoo Mart. Another thing that New Orleans and Louisiana in general is known for is voodoo. Go ahead and cross right here. Let me go ahead and cross over here. There goes that sidewalk. That sidewalk's blocked off, so I'm gonna have to navigate around it. And look at those old buildings. Like I said, those old French architectural buildings. I'm on Canal Street now. Canal Street is another very popular street here in New Orleans. You probably heard of Canal Street. So before I get into the heart of French Quarter, I want to come down this way. And check this out, this painting right here. Not sure who this is. Looks familiar, but I can't put a name on it. But it's really nice painting. Okay. He's playing a piano, so I presume whoever it is a jazz musician. I'm at the corner of Canal Street and Rampart Street. Now this is a Sanger Theater right here. So it looks like this is an entertainment district right here within New Orleans. And New Orleans has several of those because it is New Orleans, jazz music and blues and stuff like that. You know, you have that, it's very common. But this is the Sanger Theater right here, which is a historical performance venue. Right here in New Orleans. And they have a display out here, basically with the history of this venue. Dating back to 1927 when it was open. And it was a parade down Canal Street which marked the opening of the Sanger Theater on February 4th. For the price of 65 cents per ticket, patrons saw a silent movie, a stage play, and heard a performance of the Sanger Grand Orchestra. So this is a little timeline. There goes Julius Sanger. He sold the theater for $10 million to the Paramount Publics Corporation, which operated the Sanger throughout the Great Depression. Okay. In 1941, after surprise attack by Pearl Harbor, by the Imperial Japanese Naval, the United States joined the World War II. And of course, you know, being that was such a tumultuous time in history, music is what kept kind of a lot of people, you know, basically in good spirits. And you can see right here some brothers performing right here at the Sanger, a jazz band. So that's pretty cool. And it looks like right here is Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte. Of course, they were real big back in the 60s. 1964, the Civil Rights Act outlawed discrimination against racial, ethnic, national, and religious minorities and women. In 1956, the first two-lane span of the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway opened, linking the North Shore to the New Orleans metro area. So this is just a timeline of a lot of things that have happened surrounding this area, around the Sanger Theater. Benefit concert. Raised money for Hurricane Betsy, which cost $1 million in damage. So that was in 1965. And 1984, New Orleans hosted the Louisiana World Exposition, better known as the World's Fair. The 75th anniversary of the Sanger was in 2002, which was celebrated with a return of classical movies, including Some Like It Hot, The Wizard of Oz, and Gone with the Wind. So it's also, you know, shows those older movies. And in 2005, during Hurricane Katrina, theater suffered significant damage with water reaching stage level. So of course you had the devastation by Hurricane Katrina. 2009 was the revitalization, renovation, and rebirth of the theater. So the Sanger Theater is extremely historic venue right here on Canal Street. There goes that streetcar, a New Orleans streetcar, perfect timing. So now I'm at the corner of Canal and Basin Street. Now Basin Street is similar to what 18th and Vine District is in Kansas City and what Beale Street is in Memphis. Basin Street was a very historic street back in the early, 20th century. You know, back when, you know, the 20s and the 30s and things of that nature, when there were a lot of thriving historical business districts for black people. And Basin Street was one of those. A lot of musical venues for black people, especially as it pertains to jazz music. So this is what makes Basin Street very important. And here's a sculpture right here, sculpted by Enrique Alvarez in 1943. And it is a sculpture of Molly Marine. And she was a Marine to fight. So in honor of women Marines who served their country in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Marine Corps. So yeah, Molly Marine. Here's another historical performing arts venue. It's called the Joy Theater. It too, located on Canal Street. Had to jet across the street real quick. And it looks like this street right here, Canal Street, is lined up with a bunch of palm trees. Starting to warm up now. I got my pullover because it was really chilly this morning, but it's warming up now. Go ahead and cross now. This right here is the other end of Basin Street. Simon Bolivar Monument. The Welcome to New Orleans downtown sign.